Madeline slammed the door of the family home, her hands trembling as she clutched the crumpled will in her fist. The words blurred through her tears. Her parents had left her nothing, not even a mention, as if she'd never existed. But the real shock came from her brother and sister's smug faces across the lawyer's desk. They'd orchestrated it all, twisting their parents' final wishes to erase her from the legacy because of who she loved. Madeline's mind raced back to that fateful dinner 2 years ago, when she'd come out to her parents. She'd prepared for the worst, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. "Mom, Dad, I'm gay," she'd said, her voice barely above a whisper. Her father had paused, fork midway to his mouth, then set it down and reached for her hand. "We love you, Maddie. Nothing changes that." Her mother had nodded, tears in her eyes, pulling her into a hug. It was a relief she'd never imagined. A weight lifted that allowed her to breathe freely for the first time in years. But her siblings, Mark and Sarah, had exchanged glances she hadn't noticed then. Glances laced with resentment that would fester into something far more destructive. Now, standing in the empty hallway of the house she'd grown up in, Madeline felt the betrayal sink in like poison. Why hadn't her parents protected her? Had their acceptance been genuine, or just a facade to keep the peace? She replayed every family gathering since her coming out. The awkward silences when she mentioned dating women, the way Mark would change the subject, Sarah's pointed questions about settling down with a nice guy. They tolerated her, but never accepted her. And with Mom and Dad gone in that tragic car accident 6 months ago, the siblings had seized their chance. They'd contested the original will, claiming undue influence or some fabricated nonsense, and somehow convinced the courts to rewrite it in their favor. Madeline was out, literally and figuratively. She sank onto the worn staircase, her thoughts a whirlwind of anger and grief. What did this mean for her life now? The inheritance wasn't just money. It was the family business, the home, the memories. Without it, she was adrift in Seattle's relentless rain, her graphic design job barely covering rent. And then there was Madeline, sweet, steadfast Madeline, who'd been by her side through it all. How could she face her partner now, admitting she'd been cut off like a diseased branch? Madeline's inner voice screamed, "You should have fought harder, seen this coming." But how? Her parents had promised fairness, had even updated the will after her coming out to ensure equality. Or so she'd thought. The phone buzzed in her pocket, Madeline's name on the screen. Madeline hesitated, her thumb hovering. She couldn't bear to hear the sympathy in Madeline's voice. "We'll get through this platitudes." But ignoring it would only make things worse. "Hey," she answered, her voice cracking. "Maddie? What's wrong? You sound awful." Madeline's concern was immediate, wrapping around Madeline like a warm blanket she didn't deserve. "The will? It's all gone. Mark and Sarah. They took everything." The words tumbled out, raw and unfiltered. There was a pause, then Madeline's sharp intake of breath. "I'm coming over. Don't move." Madeline hung up, staring at the family photos on the wall, ones where she was still included, smiling innocently as a child. How long until those were packed away too? Her mind drifted to the first time she'd met Madeline. At a local art gallery opening 3 years ago, Madeline had been critiquing an abstract piece, her insights sharp and passionate. Madeline had been drawn to her like a moth to flame, their conversation flowing effortlessly into coffee, then dates, then love. Madeline came from a conservative family too, but hers had disowned her outright after she came out in college. "At least you have your parents' support," Madeline had often said, a hint of envy in her tone. Now even that illusion was shattered. When Madeline arrived, her arms enveloped Madeline in a fierce hug. "Tell me everything," she demanded, leading them to the living room couch. As Madeline recounted the lawyer's meeting, the forged documents her siblings had presented claiming their parents' true intentions, Madeline's face hardened. "This isn't right. We can fight this. Get a lawyer, contest it back." But Madeline shook her head, exhaustion weighing her down. "What's the point? It'll drag on for years, cost a fortune we don't have. And honestly, do I even want to be part of a family that hates me this much?" Madeline cupped her face, forcing eye contact. "You deserve what's yours, Maddie. Not just the money, the acknowledgement. They can't erase you." Those words ignited something in Madeline, a spark of defiance amid the despair. But deep down, She wondered if fighting would only deepen the wounds. What price would she pay for justice? Her thoughts churned. Is blood really thicker than water? Or is it just a toxin in disguise? The next day, Madeline met with her own lawyer, a no-nonsense woman named Elena who specialized in estate disputes. This smells fishy, Elena said, scanning the documents. Your parents' signatures on the amendments look off. We can request forensic analysis. Hope flickered, but so did doubt. Mark and Sarah were powerful. Mark a successful real estate developer. Sarah married to a judge. They had connections Madeline lacked. As she left the office, her phone rang. Sarah. We need to talk, her sister said curtly. They met at a neutral coffee shop, the air thick with tension. Sarah sat rigidly, her perfectly manicured nails tapping the table. Look, Maddie, this isn't personal. Mom and Dad were old-fashioned. They didn't want the business going to someone like you. Someone like me? Madeline's voice rose, drawing stares. You mean gay? They accepted me, Sarah. You know that. Sarah leaned in, eyes cold. They tolerated you to avoid drama. But deep down they agreed with us. The family legacy should stay traditional. The words hit like a slap. Madeline's mind reeled. Was this true? Had her parents' love been conditional all along? She stood abruptly, chair scraping. You're wrong. And I'll prove it. As she stormed out, regret mingled with resolve. This fight would tear them apart forever. But staying silent would destroy her soul. What choice did she have? Madeline paced her small apartment, the Seattle skyline mocking her through the window with its indifferent glow. Madeline watched from the couch, her brow furrowed in worry. You don't have to do this alone, she said softly. But Madeline's thoughts were a storm. If I back down now, what does that say about me? About us? The decision to sue her siblings had come swiftly after that coffee shop confrontation, but the reality was grinding. Elena had filed the paperwork, demanding access to original documents and calling for depositions. Mark had responded with a barrage of legal threats, his lawyer painting Madeline as a greedy opportunist exploiting her lifestyle for gain. The word stung, lifestyle, as if her love for Madeline was a choice, not her truth. At work, Madeline's focus shattered. Her boss noticed the dark circles under her eyes, the missed deadlines. Everything okay, Mads? He'd asked. She forced a smile. Family stuff. But inside she seethed. Why should I hide? This is their doing. Madeline tried to be the anchor, cooking dinners and listening to rants late into the night. But cracks appeared in their relationship too. One evening, as they lay in bed, Madeline whispered, Sometimes I wonder if this is worth it. The stress. It's changing you. Madeline turned, hurt flashing in her eyes. You think I should just let them win? Erase me because I'm with you? No. Madeline sat up. But fighting them means reliving every rejection. And what if we lose? We'll be broke, exhausted. The argument escalated, voices rising in the quiet room. Madeline accused Madeline of not understanding, of having already cut ties with her own family. Madeline shot back that she paid dearly for her freedom. Lost friends, therapy bills, a sense of belonging. I chose you over them, Madeline said, tears streaming. But this battle, it's consuming us. They made up with apologies and hugs, but the seed of doubt lingered. Madeline's inner monologue tormented her. Am I selfish for dragging her into this? Or is giving up the real betrayal? Weeks turned to months as the case dragged on. Discovery revealed emails between Mark and Sarah, plotting to influence their aging parents. We can't let Maddie ruin the family name, one read. Proof of manipulation, Elena crowed. But then came the counterpunch. Private investigators dug into Madeline's life, uncovering old social media posts about her activism in LGBTQ+ causes. They twisted them into evidence of instability, even subpoenaing Madeline for deposition. Madeline faced the opposing lawyer in a sterile conference room, her hands clammy. How long have you been in this relationship? The man sneered. 3 years, Madeline replied steadily, though her heart raced. And you encourage Miss Thompson's disputes with her family? I support her right to fairness, Madeline countered. The questions probed deeper, insinuating their love was a phase, a disruption. Madeline left shaken, calling Madeline in tears. They made me feel like dirt, like our life is on trial. Madeline's rage boiled over. She confronted Mark at his office, bypassing the receptionist. "How dare you drag Madeline into this?" she shouted. Mark leaned back in his chair, smirking. "You started it, sis. Should have accepted your place." "My place? As the outcast." He shrugged. "Mom and Dad loved you, sure. But they knew the business needs stability. A traditional image." The words echoed her deepest fear, that her parents' acceptance had limits. She fled, driving aimlessly until she parked by the Puget Sound, waves crashing her turmoil. Thoughts swirled. What if he's right? Am I fighting ghosts? That night, Madeline suggested therapy. "We need help navigating this." Madeline agreed, but resentment simmered. Why should we pay for their bigotry? Their first session was raw. The therapist, Dr. Reyes, probed gently. "Madeline, what does winning mean to you?" "Validation," she admitted. "Proof that my love isn't a flaw." "And Madeline?" "Peace," Madeline said. "For us to build our own family free from this poison." The words hung heavy. Madeline realized the lawsuit wasn't just about money. It was a proxy war for acceptance she'd never fully had. But at what cost? Her job performance slipped further. A major client complained, putting her position at risk. Then came the bombshell. Sarah called a family meeting excluding lawyers. They gathered at the old house, tension thick as fog. Sarah spoke first, voice trembling. "This has to stop. We're family." "Are we?" Madeline challenged. "You erased me," Mark interjected. "We were protecting the legacy. But maybe we went too far." Sarah nodded. "Mom and Dad wouldn't want this division." Madeline's heart wavered. Was this an olive branch or a trap? Her mind raced. Forgive and forget? Or demand accountability? They talked for hours, unearthed grievances airing like dirty laundry. Mark admitted jealousy over their parents' special treatment of Madeline post-coming out. Sarah confessed fear that Madeline's choices would affect her kids' social standing. Madeline shared her pain, the isolation of hiding her true self for years. By dawn, a tentative agreement. Mediation instead of court. But as Madeline drove home, doubt crept in. Had she compromised too much? Madeline awaited, hopeful. Progress. "Maybe," Madeline said. But inside, is reconciliation worth the scars? The mediation room felt like a pressure cooker, with Elena on one side, her sibling's lawyer on the other, and a neutral arbitrator in the middle. Madeline sat rigidly, Madeline's encouraging text burning in her pocket. "You've got this." But her thoughts betrayed her. What if this is just another way to diminish me? The session began with concessions. Mark offered a portion of the inheritance, enough for Madeline to start over. Sarah proposed keeping the house but granting visitation rights. It sounded reasonable, but Madeline's gut twisted. "Why now?" she demanded. "After months of hell?" Sarah sighed. "Because fighting you is tearing us apart too. We miss the old days." "The old days when I pretended to be straight?" Madeline's voice sharpened. Mark rubbed his temples. "We never asked you to pretend. Just not flaunt it." The arbitrator intervened, steering toward compromise. By day's end, a settlement sketched. Madeline got 20% of the estate, no business control, and a no-contact clause if hostilities resumed. She signed, relief mingling with regret. Was this victory or surrender? Back home, Madeline celebrated with takeout. "You stood up for yourself. That's huge." But Madeline poked at her food, mind elsewhere. "Did I let them off too easy?" The money helped, paying off debts, securing their apartment, but the emotional void remained. Life normalized superficially. Madeline threw herself into work, landing a promotion. Madeline pursued her teaching certification, their evenings filled with quiet domesticity. Yet shadows lingered. At a pride event, Madeline hesitated sharing photos online, fearing sibling backlash. "Why care?" Madeline asked. "Because they're family," Madeline admitted. Or were. The fracture deepened when Sarah invited them to her son's birthday. "Bring Madeline," the note said. A gesture? Or pity? They went, tension palpable. Kids played, adults chatted awkwardly. Mark avoided eye contact. Sarah overcompensated with hugs. Madeline charmed the nieces and nephews, but Madeline felt like an exhibit. The gay aunt tolerated for show. Later, in the car, Madeline exploded. That was humiliating. They treat us like a novelty. Madeline defended weakly. They're trying. Trying? After what they did. Madeline's hurt cut deep. The argument festered, leading to Madeline staying with a friend for a night. Alone, Madeline confronted her mirror. Why cling to toxic ties? Therapy sessions intensified, Dr. Reyes challenging. What do you owe them? Nothing, Madeline realized. But blood pulled stubbornly. Reconciliation attempts continued. Family dinners, holidays. Each time, subtle digs emerged. Sarah's, when will you settle down properly? Mark's jokes about alternative lifestyles. Madeline endured silently at first, then pushed back. One Thanksgiving erupted. Over turkey, Mark commented on a news story about gay adoption. Kids need a mom and dad, right? Madeline slammed her fork. Kids need love, not bigotry. The table fell silent. Sarah mediated. Let's not fight. But Madeline, emboldened, added. If you can't accept us fully, why invite us? Mark stormed out, Sarah cried. They left early, the drive home fraught. That was it, Madeline declared. I'm done pretending. Madeline nodded, but guilt gnawed. Did I force this wedge? Months later, a crisis hit. Mark's business faltered, needing bailout. He called Madeline, pleading. For old time's sake. She hesitated, mind racing. Help and enable? Or let him face consequences? Madeline advised against. He'd never do the same for you. But Madeline wired the money, a small sum from her settlement. It's closure, she explained. Madeline's eyes flashed betrayal. Closure? Or masochism? The rift widened. Madeline questioned their future. If you can't cut them loose, where does that leave us? Therapy uncovered Madeline's core wound. Abandonment fear, rooted in societal rejection. I thought family was forever, she confessed. Dr. Reyes nodded. But forever on whose terms? The turning point came at a crossroads. Madeline issued an ultimatum. Choose them or us. Madeline's heart broke. Force a choice? But she knew Madeline was right. In a tearful call, she told her siblings, I love you, but I can't keep hurting for your approval. Sarah begged reconsideration. Mark accused manipulation. Madeline hung up, blocking numbers. Freedom tasted bittersweet. Madeline embraced her. Proud of you. But inside, Madeline wondered. Was severing ties the right path? Or just another loss? With her siblings out of the picture, Madeline expected peace, but the void echoed louder. Mornings brought phantom regrets. What if I tried harder? Madeline noticed the withdrawal, the late-night stares at the ceiling. Talk to me, she urged. I feel unmoored, Madeline admitted. Like I've lost my roots. Madeline held her. We'll grow new ones. Together. They dove into building their life. Volunteering at LGBTQ+ centers, fostering friendships with like-minded couples. Madeline's art flourished, channeling pain into designs advocating equality. Yet, societal pressures crept in, news of anti-gay legislation, whispers at work about diversity hires. It reminded her. Acceptance was fragile. A year post-settlement, an unexpected letter arrived. From Sarah apologizing. I was wrong. Miss you. Attached. A photo of the family Madeline photoshopped out. No, wait, it was an old one with her included. Madeline's pulse quickened. Genuine remorse? Or manipulation? She showed Madeline, who cautioned, don't rush back. But curiosity won. They met Sarah at a park-neutral ground. Sarah looked weary, divorced now from her judgmental husband. He left when I defended you, she revealed. Madeline's empathy stirred. Why now? Losing you made me see my prejudices. Therapy helped. They talked tentatively, bridging gaps. Mark was absent, stubborn, Sarah said. Madeline shared her journey, the costs of the feud. Strained relationship, lost sleep, eroded trust. Sarah listened, tears falling. I betrayed you. Can you forgive? Madeline pondered. Forgiveness for healing or forgetting the hurt? She extended an olive branch. Occasional coffees, no full immersion. Madeline supported warily. As long as it doesn't consume you. Balance seemed possible, but fate tested it. Madeline's health scare. A lump, benign but terrifying, shifted priorities. During hospital waits, Madeline reflected. Family isn't just blood, it's choice. Post-recovery, they discussed adoption. Our own family, Madeline dreamed. But societal hurdles loomed. Background checks, biases. Madeline's past lawsuit surfaced, painting her as contentious. Agencies hesitated. Frustration mounted. This is because of us, Madeline lamented. Madeline fought back, appealing decisions, rallying support. Success came slowly. A foster placement, a young girl named Lily, orphaned and questioning her identity. Caring for Lily unearthed Madeline's unresolved traumas. When Lily asked about family rejection, Madeline shared edited truths. Sometimes people fear what they don't understand. But nights brought doubts. Am I equipped with my baggage? Madeline reassured. We're in this together. As bonds formed, Sarah reached out more, offering babysitting. Madeline allowed it, monitoring closely. Sarah proved changed, engaging Lily without judgment. Mark, however, resurfaced angrily via email. You're poisoning the family with your agenda. Madeline ignored, but it stung. Inner conflict raged. Cut him permanently? A confrontation brewed at a family event Sarah hosted. Mark attended uninvited, cornering Madeline. This lifestyle now with a kid? Disgraceful. Madeline intervened. Our life is love. Yours is hate. The argument escalated, Sarah siding with Madeline. Leave if you can't accept. Mark stormed off, disowning them all. In the aftermath, Madeline felt empowered yet drained. The price? Another fracture, but clarity gained. Their family solidified, Madeline, Lily, even Sarah as ally. But Madeline questioned. Was the journey worth the scars? Years blurred into a tapestry of hard-won joys and lingering shadows. Lily thrived under their care. Officially adopted after grueling processes that tested every resolve. Madeline's career soared, her designs gracing national campaigns for LGBTQ+ rights. Madeline taught at a progressive school, shaping young minds against prejudice. Yet the past whispered. Sarah became a fixture, redeemed through actions. Attending pride parades, donating to causes. Mark remained estranged, his silence a wound that scarred over time. One evening as they tucked Lily in, she asked, Why did your brother hate you? Madeline paused, choosing words. Fear. But love wins if you fight for it. Lily nodded, hugging tight. Madeline smiled from the doorway but later confessed. Sometimes I wonder if we've paid too much. Madeline reflected. The betrayals, battles, heartaches. Each a toll on their souls. But the growth? Invaluable. A reunion opportunity arose. A cousin's wedding. Sarah urged attendance. Show them we've moved on. Madeline hesitated. Risk reopening wounds? They went a united front. Whispers followed about the lesbian couple, the family drama. Mark was there, avoiding them until a heated exchange at the bar. You ruined everything, he accused. Madeline stood tall. I claimed my truth. You chose hate. He faltered, muttering apologies. No defenses. But seeds planted. Back home life continued. Challenges persisted. Lily facing school bullies over her two moms. Madeline advocated fiercely, inner strength forged from fire. In quiet moments Madeline journaled. The decisions, sue or settle, forgive or forget, fight or flee, each carried weight. The moral ambiguities haunted. Was erasing Mark justified, or mirroring his erasure of her? Madeline, sensing turmoil, proposed a vow renewal. To reaffirm us. The ceremony was intimate, vows raw. Through betrayals and awakenings, I choose you. As they danced, Madeline felt closure, almost. But society evolved unevenly. A backlash bill threatened rights. They protested, voices united. In the end, Madeline pondered the journey's essence. Damage and healing intertwined. Was cutting toxic family ties always the right choice, or does forgiveness sometimes demand too high a price?